Hello, hello. Welcome to the Top 5. Welcome. If everyone could just comment, like, and share. Comment, like, and share. We have a great show today. A lot of great topics. I'm pretty aware that everyone knows what's going on in the world, so we're going to talk about that. Ladies,
what a week. What a week.
Yes. What a week indeed. What a weekend. A matter of fact, let's narrow it down. What a great 4 days.
I know.
You know what? Looking at the five of us, I have to commend all of us on how fabulous as Black women we look today. I'm just going to put that out into the universe. And that is after, of course, thanking everybody for joining us. But I'm just looking at the screen and I'm like, wow. Melanin popping and all. So that I must commend you ladies for that.
All the blackness.
Thank you. Thank you. So what's going on, everyone? What's going on? Yanni, tell me, what's going on?
Oh, Lord Jesus. So what's going on with me? I was in Jamaica this week. So super exciting. Finally received my certificate from the University of the West Indies to show that I did actually graduate law school in the Caribbean. So that's super exciting for me. And it was interesting too, watching the election from Jamaica. So that was just amazing. And Victoria, my sister, says you're giving RGB. She's feeling today. Thanks, Shay. So that's kind of hi Geraldine. That's kind of what's going on with me. It was a big week for me. Of course, it was a big week for everybody, I think. Yeah. It was pretty good week, I would say.
Awesome.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Work well done. Work well done.
Woman power, yes.
Woman power, yes, absolutely. So that's what's going on. So next steps, I will have to submit my application to the General Legal Council in Jamaica and then get called to the Jamaican bar. And then I'll just be that kind of attorney. I could practice here, practice in the Caribbean, and in all 50 something, I think, Commonwealth countries. So it's a big deal. I'm patting myself on the back.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Nice.
That's awesome. I would say, like, for me, with the whole election thing, I was so happy that my block was quiet because a lot of them are Trump supporters, and they were like really, really proud these couple of weeks, and these couple of days, not a cricket. Nothing. It was so quiet. I looked out the window. I was like, "Oh, it's okay."
I'm just,
you're just shady. You're so shady. That's bad.
No, but it's just like that nice feeling. Like you can smile, you can breathe, you like have this sigh of relief for some reason. Like it's going to be better. It hasn't gotten there yet, but you just get that feeling like. The shoulders are down. You can relax. You're at ease. It was very tense. I must say it was very, very tense because, again, we have seen over the last 4 years, like how the country has been so divided. Like people have just been pulled apart. right? And we just see red and blues. But I think with time, we're just going to be seeing just people again, as Joe said. We're just going to be focusing on people and getting better because we have that sense of humanity back, that human touch. And that was just for me. Like the 4 days I've been sitting, I haven't even worked in my office. I've been outside, like looking at the TV, trying to work and, multitask. But it finally happened when you got the news, because you knew the news like 2 days in. But that like woosah moment came and I wanted to jump. I wanted to do all kinds of things. But that sigh of relief, like, okay, my kids are going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. The American people are going to be okay. And we're going to actually start seeing things shifting in a better position, in a more positive direction. So that's how I felt. That's what's bubbling, because I'm still elated, I'm just pumped.
Yeah. Love it.
How about you, Landy?
Well, I'm a cautious optimist because this country has always been very racist, and we were in a situation where we're willing to tolerate each other. And even though Biden and Kamala are now the people, he's the president-elect and she is the first VP and everything is wonderful, we've never been a country of complete equals. And that's not going to change just because the people in the White House has changed. What I'm happy for is the fact that we might be back to a space of being more tolerable of people. You don't have to feel like you have to look behind your back, because people are talking about things like, arming up, or I'm going to have to get a gun in my car, or make sure I walk with a knife, and things like this. Maybe you can calm a little bit of that down. But I think we're far away from a place where we'll ever be equals. I'm optimistic that some changes will take place, because in his speech and in her speech, they both made specific references to the African American community. I am not African American, but they usually lump us together, and we all identify in that same group. So I'm hopeful, but I'm cautious, because I know how things have played out before.
Exactly.
And I love your caution, Landy, and I'm glad you referred the president-elect's speech, and he said, and I quote, he called out Black America, after he said, African American community stood up again for me. You've always had my back. So I'm hoping the president acknowledges and not only promises, the president-elect, I'm hoping he follows through on some of the promises that have been made to the African American community. And I'm curious to see of our viewers, I think majority of our viewers are from the Caribbean. I'm curious to see what they think, because I think I confided in all of you earlier. I am not finding my 2008 happy.
Yeah.
I am not finding my goose pimples. I am not finding this hope that you guys are talking about. I am searching for it, guys. And I won't even talk about who I voted for or why I voted the way we did. That was discussed 4 hours Tuesday night when I did the ride along show. But I am searching for that hope. And I know, Landy, you said they're lumping us with the Black American community. As a Caribbean voter, that bothers me, because the needs or the fears of Black America, while are parallel to that of the Caribbean community, they're a little bit different.
That is true.
Immigration is not on the minds of Black America, whereas it's a crucial topic for Caribbean Americans in this country. So I know it was a big paragraph. He said Black America. I was hoping either the president-elect or the VP-elect would have nudged that conversation just a step further, and just say the immigrant community. Why? Because, our VP-elect is an immigrant. So I wanted a little nod. It might be a little bit selfish of me, but I did want a nod to that immigrant community. It's not even the Caribbean community, just a little nod to the immigrant community.
Yeah, because it's widespread. It could be, you know, from the Caribbean, or people from
the continent,
from England, or from Nigeria, or, you know, it's widespread, and that's right. We have different views. So,
Hamelin, what happening with you?
What's happening in my world? Other than my bun was giving me problems today. You see, like
your bun is fine.
It's perfectly shaped.
I'm actually packing to go on my trip, my vacation. Super excited about that. And I was kind of like Landy, like I was kind of like optimistic. I was just neutral in a kind of way, but optimistic. But I wasn't scared. I wasn't nervous. I was trying to be nervous, and I was trying to be like overthink, but that was not happening for me. I was just like, you know, something is gonna work out exactly the way it's gonna work out. So I was just kind of neutral. The time they announced it, that I saw it, to be honest, I saw like the sun came out over in Texas. So I am hoping to see moving forward with this new presidency is better housing in the urban areas, improving immigrants and minority life, a return to normalcy, tackling the global pandemic, and to see a diverse candidate which will include the LGBTQ community. So that's what I'm looking for. And not forgetting the DACA students, to reverse what President Trump had did to the DACA students in America. So I'm looking to see, you know, I have a list of like the changes I would like to see. Let's see what is actually going to happen in the next 4 years. But I am optimistic that he is going to tackle most of what I want to see happen in America today, so my sons could live the life that they want to live, and they don't have to be scared. So you just want, because even though, as I said, I may not have been scared, but they were scared. They was very scared. So they have a sense of relief, like, oh, I could actually go back outside to feel blah, 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 blah. So it's a whole different how I feel from how they feel.
I think Kelly Charles Collins was sharing my same sentiment that I wanted to speak on when Landy was speaking. And Kelly said, I think the issue with that, I'm in terms of the Black and Caribbean population, with that is that the Caribbean community has not put the issue on the table like the Dreamers, for example. It's the same with Black African Americans. We want things done, but we need to be very specific about what it is. And to say that we want them to call out the Caribbean community, we have to understand, and I think that is what we don't get and we don't soak in, is that the president works for us, right? The Senate works for us. And now that African Americans, Caribbean, Black people, because again, as Landy said, we are bundled up in one title. They're not going to say Grenadian Americans, or they're not going to say, you know, Jamaican Americans. You're all Caribbean, you're all African American, right? Otherwise, on our checkout box, they would have Caribbean Americans. They don't. But I think what it is that now that we are in a power play position where we have been called out, in a sense that they see us now and they see the power that we hold, we have to make our demands heard. We have to say, hey, this is what I have not been hearing for the last how many years, and we want to change. So sitting back and just like asking them nicely, can they give it to us? It's not going to work. They're not going to. We have to now demand it of them, right? Because in 4 years, another election is going to come around, and they're going to need our Black Caribbean votes, right? And we cannot wait for year 3.5 to say, well, you know, we have to give them time to make the things that we need happen, right? And we have to be advocates for ourselves. We cannot sit back and wait for them to hand us things. Okay. And I think that is what it is. When you compare the white communities to our Black communities, just like Upper West Side and Lower West Side, they were fighting for what they didn't want in their community. We don't see that happening here. So
I beg to differ, Colleen. I think that the Black community came out in droves this election. I mean,
yeah.
Well, then if we're coming out in droves, if we're coming out in droves, as you say, then how is it that we are saying that we're not being acknowledged? I guess
no, I said the immigrant. I said the immigrant community.
It doesn't matter.
I think we're splitting hairs.
Come out in droves.
So we're splitting hairs. I didn't say the Black community didn't come out. I said I wanted a nod to the immigrant community on the campaign trail. On the campaign trail, President-elect Joe Biden talked about a clear pathway for immigrants. I don't want that noise to go away, right? Exactly. I want to make sure that, like Obama 1, Obama 2, he promises or he directs. For example, Kelly mentioned the Dreamers. They've been playing with Dreamers for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 administrations with no pathway for these children who were brought into the country through no fault of their own. So all I'm saying is President-elect Biden talked about a pathway for immigrants. I want to see him follow through on that. I was a little disappointed. I was a little disappointed when no mention in his speech, and I listened to his speech like 2 or 3 times. There was zero mention, and I know the speech is just the start of it. So I'm gonna keep my ears to the ground to see what, if anything, the president-elect or this current administration is going to do for immigrants.
So Julian just mentioned, she said Kamala's father is from Jamaica, and all of a sudden he's African American. So this is the thing. I'm not too sure who in this group has did African studies. I did that. So let me just put a little history lesson when it comes to America. Now, when it came to slavery, if anyone knows that when it came to Black people, when it came to America, they stripped you from what you was, right? So the continuous thing that has been going on. So the moment that you come from any country, they just strip you from your culture. It's just, and then you're like, okay, I'm this. And usually it's like a pattern. But when it comes to white America could continue claim as Irish or Italian or whatever the case may be. But when it comes to Black people, it's looked down on us when we decide to claim if we're from Jamaica or Grenada and so forth. It's something that's been passed on forever. And sadly, it's false. He's not African-American. He is Afro-Jamaican. You can Google that up and it says Afro-Jamaicans or Indo-Jamaicans or so forth. He's Afro-Jamaican. He's not African-American. That's incorrect. So they should have never said that.
And they keep saying, they keep saying he's African. And I know it's splitting hairs. I know it is. And also, I don't even know that part of Senator Harris was acknowledged. I know that she was referred to as a woman of South Asian descent. The new term I learned during this election was Dougla. I don't know if any of you guys heard.
Dougla.
Did you guys know that word before this election?
Yeah,
yes.
Who in the audience knows what Dougla meant? I thought when I saw everyone. Listen, ladies, when I saw the word, I was like, here we go again. I thought it was derogatory. I'm like, you're calling her a what?
Douglas for us is just like a mix of Indian and Black.
Yeah, so, I've never heard that term.
You have the nice soft hair. You're not straight Indian, but you're not straight Black either. So you would have that nice, Douglas. So that's
so in my audience today, who knows the term Dougla before this election? Because I didn't, and I thought I was culturally aware, and I have to admit I did not.
Do you really want to see that? Okay. Look, it start coming. Look how
Debbie says
it's going to start pop up. Douglas,
who else in our audience knows what Dougla was before this election cycle?
Personally, I think that's a very common term.
I don't know. It's very common.
There's
Dougla and
I did
known that for a long time.
But the thing about it is the coolie part, that might be the derogatory term. Yes, and so it's you don't. Yes, that's the derogatory term, right? The coolie. You don't just go around.
In Jamaica, we refer to those Black people with the nice, pretty hair. We call them coolies, and it was not derogatory. Yes. That I've heard before. I've heard the coolies.
Yes, in Jamaica they call them that, but like in Grenada and Trinidad, they call this if you're mixed Dougla.
Dougla. It's a little bit on the derogatory side, but Dougla would be the most Yeah.
So Kelly, I think maybe most Jamaicans have never heard of it. Kelly says she's only heard about it today. Mo have heard about it. Veron Neal heard about it. Quite a few people have heard about it, but yeah, that was new to me.
That is so, you know. Okay, I guess that's the cultural barrier here, because I get, you know, it's like in the islands they refer to different things different ways, right?
Right.
So I think that's what it is. It's what we certain fruits. My friend, she's from Jamaica. She's like, but I'm like, we call that cashew. You call it something else. And I'm like, okay, so show us that. And I think that is what it is, right? When we go back to race and we go back to the ways that we should be together and not dividing ourselves. There's so much to learn. It's so much that we can learn from each other, because again, we're sharing different backgrounds. We're coming from different histories. We're coming from different places. And despite the fact that, you know, we want to be labeled Caribbean, I remember one of my professors, you know, she kind of like stumped us in the head one day, because one person was from St. Vincent and the other was from St. Lucia, and they had this kind of bump head, right? And she said, it's just so crazy that here you go arguing over the land that oppresses you. That's where they you know, where they section out slaves. Like if you're a good slave, you go to this country. If you go
bad slave, you go to Jamaica.
And you know, and that's the thing. It's like they have divided us from day one to not see ourselves as just people. And here we're labeling ourselves like, hey, I'm Grenadian, hey, I'm Jamaican, but we are African rooted. We're African people, stolen. We didn't come willingly, stolen. But again, these are places where we call home. So as much as we love it, we should never lose this sight of where we originally come from. We might not know exactly, drop us in Africa, where we're going to go, but we can relate. We can see ourselves in those people, versus we can't see ourselves in any other race, right? And no other race can see themselves in us. But again, we're people. So with the difference of the names you call people with nice curly hair, Cooley, Douglas, all of that, that just shows like our essence of self and humans, and, you know, all the things, the common things that we share.
So just let's get back to the Biden and Harris.
I know, right now we're talking history. We went history.
We could go deep into this topic, okay? I know exactly. We can talk about it for the whole show. But I wanted to know, what did you guys feel about Black women playing a big part in the Biden and Harris ticket?
Oh, it was amazing. It was definitely amazing. I was disappointed at one sense when they talked about the 53 or the 55% of white women who they so invested in. They invested over $100 million for the suburban moms, right, to come over to the Democratic side. And they some of them came on and they, you know, I didn't want to be called a housewife and I'm going for Biden. But then you see the majority of them voted for Trump. And then it came back to the Black women carrying this election to the end, Black and brown women. And it was just so good to, you know, be acknowledged for that, because this is not the first time, the second or third, from the time we have been able to fight for freedoms and rights as human beings. We have been handing elections to white men, and I think that has to change. But I'm just glad that they can acknowledge our Black women for doing such an amazing job for this election. They can't take that away from us now.
I
go ahead, Hermie.
Okay, I was elated. I was happy. I was like 91% of Black women voted, you know, for Biden. I had a reflective moment when I read that. And even when they had the top, you know, the Top 5 women who was actively involved in the process, and one woman stood out to me, and that's Simone Sanders. She stood out to me. I saw myself in her, and I started to reflect on when I was 25 years old, what I wanted to do, my ambition, my drive, and to see a young lady at 25 being like the senior, what she was, the youngest presidential press secretary on record in the Bernie Sanders campaign. I was like, and I grew up in an era where your parents shut you up. You had to have respect for your elders. You had to know your place. Like if somebody had told these women, know your place, like this, I wouldn't see this happening today. So I was really proud, and I really liked her quote, and I'm going to read her quote. She said, "I am motivated by the simple fact that someone fought, matched, cried, prayed, and spoke up so that one day I would be able to do the same for the next generation. I also know that when I show up, no one is going to bring the same perspective. So it's my duty to show up as my authentic self every single time." And that caused me to have teary eye on Friday when I read that about her, because I wish I had the opportunity to do something so great, so young. So I am proud to see these 5 women, and I'm sure there are more, but these 5 women on the internet plastered with a bio and, like telling us what they did. I am motivated to do more for my cause as well. I am inspired.
Mm-hmm. So I love, and I think you're talking about, I think,
Simone Sanders.
I was going to read from Simon here, Mulvey. Okay. I'm hoping I pronounce your name right. I'm sorry if I'm not. And she was saying it was absolutely amazing to see Black women carrying the torch to the end. Black women are always doing the hard work without any appreciation. This is our time. Love it.
Nice. I love that. And in VP-elect's speech, I loved that she started with the tributes. She acknowledged her mother and all that. I loved it. And in the order of women that she thanked, I don't know if you guys noticed, she said
Black was first.
And not only first, but emphasized. So I love it. It was
she gave us like a 5-second space.
It's like walking into that elevator. It's like walking into that elevator, and it's filled with males or white males, and there's one Black woman, and you don't have to say hello, but it's understood. You do the little nod. So I did like that about VP-elect Harris. One of the things I want to ask, not only you ladies, but of our panel, were these Black women sending a message to Donald Trump, meaning we're not voting for Biden, we're voting against Trump? Don't jump on me yet. Don't jump yet. Wait. I am just curious.
Yeah, no, Diani, I do not think.
Me just ask.
Let me tell you.
All right,
let me tell you right here.
1 minute.
We're not thinking about Trump.
Hold on 1 minute. Were Black women sending a message to racism, sending a message to the bully? And so it wasn't truly a vote for Biden, but was it a vote against Donald Trump? Mm-hmm. And I'm asking the audience, I'm asking all of you.
I would say that a lot of it, and not only women in general, but I think everyone who voted, a lot of them, it's more or less like a choice between good and evil. So even though Biden and his camp have very specific things that they want to do and they want to change, a lot of it was not necessarily about voting for him because you just love his policies and everything that he's about. And yes, I do understand he's a great guy. He has a lot of history. He's been in politics for over 40 years, all of this good stuff. But it was more important when you have somebody who has spewed so much evil out of his mouth and has risen up everything that's dirty and disgusting in this country and like brought all of it to light. It's like everybody just doesn't want to see that mess. So a lot of people did say that they didn't necessarily vote for Biden. They voted against Trump. So if a dog were to go up against Trump, the dog
probably would have won.
Yeah. It would be anybody but Trump, period. So that's my point on that.
Oh, wow.
No,
Thanks for your honesty, Landy. Thanks for your honesty.
But I have to honestly say no, like Mo, and put all the O's at the end because again, Mo said no.
Okay.
I think if you really think about it, as Black women fighting for a place here in America to be acknowledged for the the power that we have as people, we would not focus on Trump. Trump would be a figment of our imagination. But again, we're fighting for something bigger. Remember, we have our Black Lives Matter. We have our kids dropping like birds out the sky in the streets because of police brutality and shootings. So I don't think that, Trump was the center of people's attention for when it comes to voting. Yes, we wanted him out, but we have bigger issues, bigger fish to fry, than for him. So regardless if he was there or not, I think right now women are just saying enough is enough, especially Black women, because again, when you think about our Black communities, who carry those communities? Our women. Who mourns the loss of their kids more than anything else? Black women. So I think they have more to fight for than just to say in a political race they want to Trump out. Yes. We're bigger than that.
Mm-hmm. So we have a lot to say on this topic for sure, but we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are down to the 10th edition of YT Virtual Bingo. Have you tried it yet? Then what are you waiting for? Join the fun online Sunday, November 15th from 6 p.m. and you can win $10,000 US. Yes, $10,000 US. Tickets are only $10 US. Get yours today at gotofed.com or from numerous box offices island-wide. Don't miss the 10th edition of YT Virtual Bingo. Sunday, November 15th. It's the new way to play bingo.
I'd like to make right before we move on to the next topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I just want to talk about Kamala's suit. Okay, so she wore this beautiful white suit. Oh, she wore the suit, what she wore last night, and it was symbolic. It wasn't just any suit. The suit was called suffragette white, and the suit, what it's supposed to mean or what it represents is the struggle of a group, a women's led group that was all about the right to vote in public elections. This group was formed in the early 1900s. So when she walked out on that stage, she was making a statement with her suit. And she's not the only one. Suffragette white is the name of it. And I did not know. Yeah,
yeah, they did announce it yesterday. Because the same one, I think Simone Sanders was in white as well yesterday, and they talked about that, the highlighting of the women's suffrage movement.
Okay. Yeah. So and in the way that she started off with, she talked about how women's Black women, and then she called out all these other people who were instrumental in pushing us to vote on the backbone of the democracy. This is what she said. And that absolutely warmed my heart. We had all this conversation before because the audience on the weekends, we have a lot of conversation in our WhatsApp group back and forth. And we talk about how important it is for Black women to recognize each other and how most often we've been seen as very invisible in certain circles. We do a lot, but we're not really recognized for it. And sometimes even when we see each other, depending on who's in the room, sometimes we try to hide from our Blackness from one another. So for her to call out and say, yes, Black women, I see you, that meant a lot to me. I was really taken by that statement. I was really impressed by her white suit. And also her pussy bow blouse.
That means something too?
Yeah, that means something too. That they were trying to say that was a dig at Trump. You know what he said? Right.
They need to bring that up. I need to see that.
Remember
hence the name.
Yeah. It's called a pussy bow, BOW blouse. And they said that she wore that. Maybe that was a tongue-in-cheek, like, hey, like, I see you. I'm wearing this blouse, like, for you.
That's hilarious.
I love it.
Her outfit was symbolic. So it's going to be interesting to see what she wears going forward and what it means underneath.
He has
so
been cracking
suffragette,
jokes
it means
on people.
it
So
represents women fighting for voting rights. Remember, the women in Congress did the same thing at one State of the Union address. Geraldine says, ironically, when the suffragette movement was started, it never acknowledged Black women. I'll have to do a little bit more on this because I'm not familiar, but I know we moved on, but I'm still curious about, did we vote for Biden or against Trump? I can tell you I voted against Trump. And I'm an African-American Caribbean immigrant. I fit all the boxes we've been talking about, suburban woman, all of that. And I voted against Trump. So I don't want us to, I want to hear what our audience thinks if they too voted against President Trump and not so much for Joe Biden.
I voted against Trump.
See, that's 2 of us. That's 2 out of 5. That's 2 out of 5. We voted against Trump. So that, I think we have to acknowledge that, it's not like we're coming to this realization of hope. It's more of, I don't want any more of this madness.
I voted against the madness, and I voted for a peace of mind.
Yes.
Okay. I voted for a peace of mind, and I voted for more awareness to Black America.
Yeah. So Angela says, so Kelly Charles Collins said both. Angela said she voted against Trump. Sure did. So you see, there's a difference where, we voted against Trump, or did we vote for Biden? And people say it's the same, but it's not the same. It's totally, it's not the same.
I respect, I totally, go ahead, homie. Go ahead, mama.
So I always gonna bring it back to domestic violence. I'm going to bring it back around domestic violence. Yes. So I voted against Trump because I feel like me as a victim, going back to my abuser saying, oh, well, he gave me birthday presents. He gave me Christmas gifts. Oh, at least he feeds me. But I mean, hey, I could take the 2 thump here and there. So I'm going back to domestic violence, like a victim going back to her abuser, not giving the new guy a chance because she don't know what she's expecting in a new relationship.
Hey, Melania might run now.
Wait, hold on. She gonna run from what? She gonna run from Trump. What's she gonna do? Run from Trump?
She better
start running now. She better start running now.
Yeah,
anything with Trump at the end, we don't want it.
One of the things that I'm hearing, we also see a lot of our viewers are saying they voted against Trump. To be honest, Shanini Land says, I'm still not sure. I don't even know what Biden stands for either. I'll have to do some research to see what the agenda is or what his political agenda is, because I still have to look into that. I'm going to be quite frank.
Yeah,
I did a little bit of digging in his campaign site yesterday. And a few of the things that popped up for me in what he's trying to implement. So he wants to rebuild the middle class. He wants to ensure that all Americans are treated with dignity. He wants to talk about climate change. He wants to talk about health. He also wants to make sure that everyone has a fair shot. And he wants cooperation for everyone, not just for particular parties. And I think, and again, when we really look and we think about it, it's just another white man in power, right? And it's not reflective of our Barack Obama or another Michelle Obama. But I think what it is too is that we know, based on his track record and based on his human nature, right? Because for 4 years, we haven't felt that. We haven't seen that empathetic side of someone for a very long time. And I can say that, listening to Joe's story, because even as the vice president to Barack Obama, he went through certain things, and the way that he dealt with it just shows that we're dealing with someone human. And for that, I'm willing to give him a chance to see where he is going to take this country for the next 4 years, right? I'm willing to do that because, again, from the time he has started to speak, he has been talking about a togetherness, a one America, right? Talking about the people who lost their families due to COVID. And you have not heard a word about that from Trump. Like, Trump has not even personally went to George Floyd's family. He hasn't called them out. He hasn't acknowledged the people who have died. Okay. And for me, that's just inhumane as a person. So I'm willing to give this human being a chance to show me that he's willing to hold true to what he's doing. And another highlight, if I have time, if you guys permit me, like 2 minutes,
just
I wanted to talk about
Hermie, I think Landy wanted to jump in a little bit, and we also have Doug King making a really good point.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that to your point, Colleen, 74 million people voted for Biden.
Best vote, a lot, right? Absolutely.
I'm also going to say that a lot of people voted for Trump.
Yeah.
One thing that stood out and that we know is that this 2020 election had the biggest turnout in any election ever in the history of this country. So the fact that everybody, young, old, in between, disabled, everybody came out, this says something. And if you never understood anything about the democratic process before, you were educated this time around, right?
Absolutely.
So this is a very, very important thing. 74 million people decided to choose him. He didn't win by a slim margin. He got a lot of electoral votes. I think the last time I saw it was up to 289 or 284, something like this. So it's not like it was like a little bit of a win. It's a huge win. And like I said, it could be because people are looking at this good versus evil, or let's give somebody else a chance. I want to give him a chance. I want to hope that he's going to do something right for this country. One of the things that stood out to me is that he is putting together a task force.
Yes.
As of next week to start working on COVID. We need to get a handle on this situation, because on Friday, they said 125,000 people in this country tested positive. I have family, all my immediate family, most of them live in Canada. My father's 86 years old. He's dying to come to my house. He hasn't come to my house in years because he wasn't able to travel because my mom was sick. My mom passed away in 2019. He's been looking forward to come here so bad, and I cannot bring him. I cannot bring him here. So I'm hoping that in January or sometime in early next year, now that Biden is the president-elect, and all these other people have reached out and given him like the nod, and I'm happy. I'm looking forward to working with you. Canada, Trudeau has reached out to him. Boris has reached out to him from England. All these other countries have reached out to him already to congratulate him and to say that they're looking forward to working with him. This was not happening with Trump. A lot of people were like closed off. It's like they know that he's over there. The less that they could speak to him or deal with him was the better. Now this is going to hopefully open up windows and doors so that we can start to move normally. Unless we get this disease under control, nobody's going anywhere. I'm dying to go on a vacation.
Yeah.
This is so unlike me to be feeling like I'm stuck here. I usually go on vacation at least 3 times a year. And then I go to Canada back and forth all the time, maybe every 2 months or so, sometimes less or more. But the fact that I can't even move is a huge barrier to my life. And I really, really hope that, as you said, that he's taking this super, he's not going to stop. He's going to be relentless until we get this under control. I hope that he takes some notes from the governor here, Cuomo. He's done a great job, in my opinion, to try and get things in order in such a huge city like New York. Hopefully he'll take people from different areas who are winning at this, because it's embarrassing that such a big country like America, who the world watches, is failing, and people are dying, and it's people like me who are on the chopping block. You know, I don't necessarily have a lot of underlying issues, but I'm a Black woman. I'm in my 40s. I'm at risk already. You know, I have a daughter who has asthma sometimes. We're very, very cautious about what she does, because if she has an issue with her breathing and she gets COVID, then what? So for me, I'm really hoping that this issue is at his forefront. He takes it as serious as it needs to be, so that we can get to some kind of a new normal where we can move again.
And you know, interesting enough, we did a poll and it said 60% was against Trump and 40% for Biden.
Oh, so, wow. So 60% said they voted against Trump. So they weren't really voting. They were not really voting for for Biden. They were voting for, and I think Doug, I don't know if you saw the comment earlier from Doug, he 100% voted against Trump. So, you know, that's kind of where it is, where I think the president spewed so much hate that people just had enough of that hate, and the rhetoric was
division.
And I don't know how you guys feel, but how do you feel about Trump saying that he doesn't accept Biden's win? That's the first time I ever came across a president.
He just has to go. I think he has to go. That is so him, though. I mean,
that is so Trump. Like you can't
Trumpanian.
Like
that's
exactly, it's his philosophies are just so laughable.
Well, what does that mean? Like, what would that mean for his followers? You know, they are a little extreme. So for him to say, "Oh, I don't accept his overall win," how is he going to get the country to be, one? Now that's that time we need to unify, not to continue to separate each other. You know, I don't understand. It's like he still wants war.
I think I still believe he has his Proud Boys standing on pause. And it's quiet right now, but a lot can happen between now and January 20th.
Yes.
Yeah. And I said this yesterday, and I'm always this person who, I'm happy, but I'm a cautious optimist. I started thinking about, how the Harris family and the Biden family, every member has to be super cautious and aware of their surroundings, because as much as they have people that love them, there's an equal half of people who cannot stand what you represent. So their lives are at risk. And I'm hoping that they are walking with shields of armor from God and secret security and everything. Because one thing that came to my mind is I thought about JFK and what happened when he came and he was on top and everybody was loving him. Black people loved him, and he came with such promise and people had such big expectations of him, and boom, he was gone. So my thing is that I'm very, very cautious and careful at this time.
Yes.
I think a lot of people love America too, despite the fact that we're at this red and blue juncture. But I think a lot of people love America more than they would do for the loyalty of Trump. That if some SHRT was to pop off, it's going to be America first, right? Because remember, we have a military who is supposed to be protecting our country. Now, if our country is in a direct threat, I can't, really see it happening. Trump has to go, regardless of what he do, what he says. His Proud Boys, his rich poor boys, they're going to have to figure it out. But I don't think, I'm hoping it doesn't get to that point. But I don't think it's going to get to that point, because I think there's a lot of people that are going to come out of the woodworks, meaning in the government, and they're going to shut it down.
And on that note, let's shut this section down, because we could go on and on and on and on and on and on. I love that. Khalil, let's shut it down. Let's take a quick break. We're going to talk about the SVG elections, right? Because that's juicy too. I feel like we're on election overload. St. Vincent and the Grenadines had their election this week. We're going to talk about that right on the other side of this break. No going away.
Hey, I got some good news for you. Looking for a passionate immigration lawyer with experience that spans over 2 decades? Someone trusted that served immigrant families just like yours? Well, look no more. Now you can benefit from her personal and professional experience. Diane Winter Funde. Schedule a consultation now and get assistance with your immigration journey. Specialize in adjustment of status, B1 business visa, B2 visitors visa, consular processing, deportation defense, naturalization, and more. Give us a call today at 813-815-3529. That's 813-815-3529, or online at winterimmigration.com. Attorney Diane Winter Funde. Law done differently.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for watching. So this, I feel like we've been on election. Oh Lord, here comes the flag. I wasn't ready. We didn't talk landing.
Go ahead.
So for those of you, we're all political buffs in this group. And this week, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Vinces, That's what we call them, the
Vincentians.
Vincentians. I call my friends Vinces from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they had their election this week, and we had the ULP Ralph Gonzalez 5 times. This is his 5th consecutive term. He won not the popular vote, but he did win the electoral vote. Landy, I know from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. What was this week like for you, Landy, with the election and everything?
You know, I wasn't surprised. I was not surprised that he won again. It's hard to believe that since 2001, he's been in power. And so his party, the ULP party, won with 9 seats in parliament, and the NDP side, they have 6 seats. So we'll see how that works out. But there's not much to say about it. The mission of the party was to take or to lift SVG higher. That country has a lot of things going on there. Actually, looking towards being a big exporter of marijuana.
I know they had the debate about legalizing
a couple years ago. That was a big thing for the island. So I can see some actual progress that has been done there. The Honorable Ralph Gonzalez is not a man who does not have some controversy around him. All I will say is that it seems like he's grooming his son for progress. I mean, not for progress, but to probably take his position later on. So let's see how that goes. Very interesting. And Diani had brought up another point. You had said that the country is 85% in debt.
In debt, yeah. It's for in comparison to her Caribbean sisters, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is heavily in debt. I think about 80 something percent in debt. When you're comparing it to other countries in the Caribbean, what I found intriguing about the St. Vincent election, I don't know if you ladies did as well, is that Mr. Gonzalez did not win the popular vote. Doug, I know you're a St. Vincent. What did you think about that? I was like, wait a minute, they have the same electoral vote and popular vote. Yeah. What did you think about that, Landy? He didn't win the popular vote, but he did win the electoral vote. It was like a voting nightmare all over again.
You know what? I'm not going to speak too much on that because, like I said, there's a lot of controversy that surrounds Mr. Gonzalez and his son, and I don't have people coming for me.
I know.
I know the feeling. Less is more, right?
Yes, less is more. I
have a question about the Caribbean and term limits. Like 5 times. Like, can we give somebody else a chance?
Exactly.
I five consecutive years. I mean, come on. It's like the same policies, the same thinking, the same everything, the same. Like, come on. You should have term limit. Get out of there. Give somebody a chance. That's how I feel about all Caribbean election.
Yeah, and not your son. At least let somebody else be fairly voted in.
Yeah,
at least because it looks kind of like he's trying to have like some type of dictatorship going on where if I pass on, then my son is going to carry out my my biddings, like carry on my policies. But also too, I'm not Vincentian. I would love to go there someday, but like you, Yolandi, play it safe. We can still talk, but I think again, it's just like if you're not winning the popular votes, that means that people are not really too happy with you.
No, they're not. I agree. I agree with you first time today, Colleen.
People are not really for you. And the fact that you continue going and people are not able to vote you out, it seems like there's a lot of other shady stuff happening there. But again, it usually comes a time when people say enough is enough, and they're going to like vote you out, landslide.
I wonder when will that time be for the St. Vincent's? Doug, do you mind calling in? You're the only one I see from St. Vincent, 718-701-5720. When is a good time when the St. Vincent's are going to say, you know what, Mr. Gonzalez?
The Vincentians.
The Vinci.
Just say Vinci.
The Vinci crew. The Vinci crew. Doug, when is a good time what is a good time they're going to say enough is enough, like Colleen pointed to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Doug also said, he said he's a Vincentian who is very disappointed with the election in St. Vincent.
Yeah. Yeah.
My understanding of what the election is a very, very scary time in the Caribbean. This past election, I believe in October on the 21st, they did have a rally. The NDP was having a rally and it ended up getting shot up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I have a friend, a colleague of mine, her father was at a political rally. This was years ago. And he was there and he was getting roughed up from some people on the opposing team. I'm not sure what side, whether he was red or blue, but whatever it was, it got so bad until it ended up in like a shooting. And
Wow.
his family was at risk. My friend had to end up, getting her father out of St. Vincent because the family became at risk.
Wow.
And these are the kinds of things that I hope will never happen in this country. When we started going through this process and we're hearing about people buying all the ammunition off the shelves down south, like you can't find no bullets. I was like, my God, this is gonna be like the Caribbean. Like what? I'm gonna have to put something in my car, a baseball bat. It made you feel that way. So
I think Doug is on the line right now.
Are very, very.
Oh, Doug is on. They said they think Doug is on.
Doug is on the line right now. Doug?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good
Good afternoon, Doug.
Hello, Doug.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Well, I am a Vincent. I am a 1000% Vinci, and I would like to see the country progress. And I am a political activist, and I make no bones about it.
Right.
I heavily campaign against Ralph Gonsalves-led government. I've been doing it for years. I am the one who organized all the protests in England, Canada, United States, with the Yogi Farrell issue last year.
Yes.
I am the one who
Right.
took the protest to the nation. I am the one who took the protest to his town hall meeting that make his staff have town hall meeting in New York. So I make no bones about that. And the reason I do that for is not because I'm against him. I'm against the policies that he holds. The NDP has some issues too. The country have a lot of issues. But when you cannot see the rise of your country and the rise of your people, and your people have to be living in literally the majority of is living in abject poverty. Have a chance to vote themselves out of it, and they vote themselves in it. Where do you go from there?
Yeah.
So, Doug, this is Diani. Doug, thank you for joining us. I don't know if you can hear me, but I can hear you. This is Diani, host here at the Top 5.
I can hear you very good.
First of all, welcome to the show, and thank you for joining us. That's what you get for being active in our chat group. We grab you and we put you on live with us. I am curious, Doug, because I did not understand the political process of St. Vincent, and it is said that Ralph Gonsalves did not win the popular vote. So it would seem to me like the people from St. Vincent are sending a message that they're not happy with his leadership. Is this what you're seeing, or are you saying they're constantly voting for this man? What are you seeing?
Well, what I'm saying is this. In some areas of the country, they are constantly voting for him. In some areas of the country, they're doing a lot of hanky panky. Like, for example, I could text you a copy of a check that somebody sent to me from St. Vincent, one of my personal friends, who is a supporter of the NDP, but he's not working. He take a $500 check. The $500 check is from the Prime Minister to vote for him. I have a copy of the check. It's on my Facebook page and everything like that. The point is, when you're hungry and a man throw you a scrum, you take the scrums. The NDP promised people jobs. The government of the day promised them $25 extra in the welfare, and they will add people who is of working age to the welfare roll. We have almost 11,000 people on the welfare roll in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and most of them are capable people who should be working to to put money into the INS for the retirement in life. The country will have to pay for them for the rest of their entire life if they're on welfare. How can you go forward like that?
Yeah.
But listen to me. Don't get me wrong. This is what the people want. If they vote for that, where do you go from here? How do you help? How do you help somebody who do not want to help themselves?
Right.
Most of us is living out here. When it snows, we gotta find ourselves out there working. When it rains, we gotta find ourselves. When it's sun, we gotta find ourselves. They gotta just look for the $275. Now they go to $300, and some will go to $325. And the injured and poor, like the people with disabilities, some of them will go to $350. You tell me, what is $350 to live in a country for a month? You tell me what that could do for anybody.
I definitely agree. So it sounds like there's some bigger issues going on in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Doug. If none of the other ladies have any question, Landy, any question? We just want to thank you for. Okay.
I have a question, Doug. In terms of the economic situation that is happening in St. Vincent, and I heard mention of what's happening now in terms of St. Vincent probably proposing to be a marijuana export country. What is your take on that? Is that something you see as a solution to their financial or economic issue, or do you look at it as more of a controversial issue? What's your take on that?
Well, that is one of the biggest. That is one of the biggest and most stupidest joke I have ever heard. If you listen to what is happening around the world, just about every country around the world is, and in the United States, it goes by states. Every one of them is given the right to grow their own marijuana, right?
Yes.
Invention, because of its volcanic formation and the volcanic eruption of 1979, it gives St. Vincent soil a kind of boost, the volcanic ash, because that's what it does over time. It gives them a boost. So we was a country with one of the greatest
agriculture,
best marijuana agriculture, period. But the marijuana growers, we had a knack for some of the best marijuana. I have never smoked in my life, so I can't tell you that. But people talk to me from other parts of the world, and they say, "Boy, since you got the best weed, could you get me some?" And like that over time. But the point is, now they're using marijuana for medicinal purpose. It's the THC in the marijuana that gets you high. They ain't looking for that. They're looking for the part that could cure glaucoma. They're looking for the part that could help treat cancer. They're looking for the part in the marijuana that could help you when you go to dialysis and you got nausea.
Right.
You do chemotherapy or them thing that you got nausea, that you could think. Every part of the world could grow that today. Countries all around the Caribbean and around the world is now legalizing marijuana. So St. Vincent marijuana going to become like soap. It become like tobacco in St. Vincent. I go to St. Vincent, never seen tobacco when I was a kid growing up because I grew up in Kingston. But I went to the country and saw my tobacco. And tobacco is just going, knocking about like weed on the ground. But nobody ain't taking that tobacco to smoke. They're going in the shop and they're buying a 3-5 Empire cigarette or a Benson Hedges.
Right.
King. They ain't got no time with the tobacco when they're knocking about. I mean,
so are you saying that you're for or against marijuana being an export? Yes.
I am not for marijuana being an export. But why would you export marijuana to me when I could grow my own? Explain that to me.
Doug, where are you calling from?
He's in New York.
If I grow marijuana in Colorado.
Oh, you're in Colorado.
No. I'm in New
York. He said if
I am growing marijuana in Colorado, I have all these legal means to grow it in Colorado. Why would I want to import marijuana from St. Vincent into Colorado?
The strain, because of maybe the strain that you're getting. Maybe the strain.
Point.
Doug, you know what? We have to bring you back, Doug, for a show because this is really good stuff. Won't you agree, ladies? That Doug, Doug, is it possible for you to join us for another show? I know we're keeping everybody over time, and we really love this conversation.
You just tell me when. Check with Junior, and I will be there.
Junior, we want Doug on the show because this is a good conversation. Doug, you're getting us warmed up. Like, this is really good, and we would love to have you back on the show. Don't you think, Victoria?
Yes, definitely.
And you got they got my contact number, and you could get in touch with me. Junior got it, and it's on the page already, so you could get my contact number and just check me anytime.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you for joining us.
Doug from St. Vincent. I love it.
Julian Latham says Gonzalez is a Vinci Trump.
Uh-oh.
Well, that's exactly what it's looking like. I have to agree.
I didn't say it. She said it.
Okay. I have to agree with you, Julian. That's what it sounds and looks like. I mean, if you're not winning the popular votes, but you're winning the election, and you have been doing it for 5 years now, sounds like you're worse than Trump.
And Hermelin, Derek Jones says, Hermelin, hey babe, love you.
I was laughing at this one. I was laughing. I said, "Oh,
I'm gonna need Mr. Funde.
You're getting love notes."
I'm gonna need Mr. Funde to just jump in on this and say something because I'm loving
This is like Valentine's for Hummy every Sunday.
What is going on over here?
Hummy gets Valentine every Sunday.
What is going on?
Well,
ladies, it's 6:07. No way.
It was great. We had a lot to talk about. And we could talk about this all day.
Yes.
But I know our time must end. So hopefully, I know it goes so fast. Hopefully everyone join us next show. Make sure to tune in every Sunday at 5. Top 5.
Yes. Yes. Dance, Hummy, you got an admirer. Hummy got her.
We are down to the 10th edition of YT Virtual Bingo. Have you tried it yet? Then what are you waiting for? Join the fun online Sunday, November 15th from 6 p.m. and you can win $10,000 US. Yes, $10,000 US. Tickets are only $10 US. Get yours today at gotofed.com or from numerous box offices island-wide. Don't miss the 10th edition of YT Virtual Bingo. Sunday, November 15th. It's the new way to play bingo.
Do you emoji? I'm talking to you. Yes, you. Do you emoji? You should. Emoji, a brand new social media platform where you can social your way. With a simple and quick way to engage, meet new friends, and social the way you just love to. No annoying blocking or censorship. Check out emoji.com from your mobile or desktop PC. Emoji.com. Do you emoji? Well, you should. Log in now. Emoji.com. Do you emoji?
Emoji.com. Log in, sign up, and emoji.